Welcome to the Speak Up Podcast, a topical discussion platform that aims to raise awareness of mental illness through telling your mental health stories. Do you want to learn how mental illness affects others in society? Do you want to be a part of spreading awareness and challenging stigma? Tune in and listen to people's testimonials. Better yet, if you like an episode, please consider sharing it across your social media. This helps us grow as a podcast. Now, over to your host Ash for the next episode.
Howdy folks, and you're listening to another episode of the Speak Up podcast. It's episode 1, season 3. Now before I go any further, you may have noticed some changes with the podcast. We've recently been allocated £1,000 in funds to upgrade the experience, so we've invested in a new intro and a new outro for the podcast, as well as some upgrades to the audio hardware. So hopefully guys, that'll improve the experience for you, and hopefully more people tune in. Now, on to today's topic, which will talk a little bit about the UK government's proposed benefits cuts. If you don't already know, guys, the UK government is cutting spending on the welfare bill. This includes reforming the system and how it works for disabled and sick individuals, some of the most vulnerable people in our society, guys. Now, firstly, before I delve any further into the topic, I know it's a contentious one, and a lot of people have strong opinions on it, so I'm going to try and stay impartial on the platform as much as I can. But as someone who claims that incapacity benefits in some form, I will be putting my 10 pennies worth in today. So I have got an opinion on it, guys, and I'll be giving you that opinion shortly. But in short, the government's reforming the points-based system for personal independence payment, otherwise known as PIP. This will mean that less people will be entitled to it in the future because you need more points in particular categories to qualify. So in other words, it's going to be tighter basically, guys, and less people are going to be eligible for it in the future. And also, I know alongside this, they're bringing back reassessments for people. The idea being that people are reassessed and those that are able to work will be supported into work. The government's obviously not published exact details on it, on how they're going to support people into work, but it's clear it's intended to slash the welfare bill considerably. My main concern here is that some people may be deemed ineligible for PIP under the new regime if they are reassessed, but yet won't also get the right support to move into sustainable employment. Now, sustainable employment, that's the key word, really. I think sustainable employment's really important for people's mental health, and the government keeps promising to get people into good, so-called good jobs and create opportunities for people, but economically the country doesn't seem to be faring very well. A lot of businesses now are actually closing down and people are being made redundant. So what's been spoken about isn't really the reality of the situation, and that's just something that really worries me as someone that actually claims PIP myself. Will I be forced into work? Will I be, would I be putting myself in other people's shoes? Would I be forced into work but also not given the right support, the right employment support? And these are all things that people will be asking themselves. On the universal credit side, less people will be eligible for the health component of UC, known as limited capability for work and work-related activity, also known as LCWRA. In addition, the actual amount people receive from this component will be reduced overall in totality. So this is actually like these are parts of the government's official reforms that I'm basically quoting from here, basically, or not quoting from, but stating from. There'll be a rapid reintroduction of the face-to-face assessments to improve quality of assessment decisions. The government's announced, so that means that they're going to be reintroduction of face-to-face assessments, which I hope doesn't merely mean that they're going to be really ridiculing claimants, as part of the assessment as they have done in previous years, where people have been ridiculed for being able to walk to an assessment, therefore being deemed able to take part in the assessment, therefore not being eligible for incapacity benefits because they've been able to comply with rules and regulations It isn't all bad though. There is some positive news. The government has pledged a right to try guarantee, which means people who are currently on benefits have a right to try to see if work works out for them without losing their entitlement to benefits. So this means, guys, is that people can have a right to try to go into work without losing their entitlement to benefits, which wasn't a thing previously. So it's not all bad news, guys. It's not all bad news. But my honest opinion is that it's not clear how the government proposes to get all these people into work, some of which haven't worked for a long time, some of which need a lot of support for the conditions that they've got. What would any reasonable employer would be willing to bend over backwards and give allowances for these situations? We are talking about the most vulnerable people in society as well. So it's how much leeway can an employer give these people really? And secondly, where are all the jobs coming from? Economic growth seems to have slowed right down, and businesses are shutting shop all over the place. There isn't much economic growth, and job growth sector across the industry isn't playing out as the government's announced. They keep saying they're going to create jobs, and it's all about job growth. But as far as I can see, it's basically just stagnation. Again, guys, this is my opinion, but this is from what I've seen in the news and things like that, and from my own personal experiences of having friends who have been made redundant and things like that. So surely we can't force people back into work without quality jobs to go to. Sustainable employment is very important for one's health, and I believe that the government hasn't really thought this through. In summary, the government's reforming the system. It's changing the points-based system for PIP, ramping up reassessment for both PIP and UC, as well as cutting the amount of money you can get on the health component of universal credit. I believe this might leave thousands of people without financial support they need to live, and likely push them into poverty. Secondly, it will leave people with no safety net or support at all. People will slip through the net and won't get the right employment support for them. And thirdly, there's the problem of where the job's coming from, basically. There's clearly a lack of real quality jobs out there for these people to go to. So what is the government going to do to get them into work, basically? And finally, on the point of reasonable adjustments, are employees going to be able to give those adjustments that they need, basically? I guess only time will tell, guys, really. But that's the end of this episode. I know it's been a short one, guys, but that's just my opinion and my 10 pennies worth on the reforms, guys. As I said, as I promised you, I would talk about that. And so that's what I've done today. I've talked about that. I've talked about the government's announcements and my opinion on it. If you like this episode, please like, comment, share, and subscribe across all our channels. And I'll see you for the next episode, guys. You guys all take care and bye-bye for now.
You've been listening to the Speak Up podcast. If you like this episode, why not check out some of our other episodes on our Spotify? You can also find out more about the podcast on our website in the episode description. If you like what you hear, why not share your content on Facebook or like us on our social media page? Your support helps our platform grow. Thanks for listening.